Welcome back to the Secret Passage podcast. I'm Dana.
I'm Shannon.
We are ready to dive into a case that is currently in the headlines. It's the case of the murder of Athena Strand by Tanner Horner. And presently, there is a sentencing trial going on. We've seen quite a few posts about it, read a lot of news articles, listened to some podcasts, and yeah, we have some thoughts. We have some thoughts on this case.
Thoughts and feelings.
Oh, yeah. I remember initially when this happened in 2022 and just hearing this quick thing about that a FedEx driver accidentally hit a little girl and that she died. And I remember that was the first thing I'm like, oh no, that's terrible. It was getting close to Christmas, and I just imagined a kid playing outside and the FedEx driver just overwhelmed with delivering stuff, didn't see her, she didn't see him, and this thing happened. It seemed perfectly, a tragic accident. And then more details came out and started hearing, actually, no, he made that up. And then I'm like, so did he just hit her on purpose and then said it was an accident? I remember thinking that. I'm like, I'm confused. How it was on purpose? Like he saw her and he hit her on purpose? Like what? And then more stuff started to come out, and it was a lot worse than that.
I don't remember it, and I feel like I just now am hearing about it.
It was one of those things initially that just feels like, it's mixed in with a lot of, a lot of just
Yeah.
crazy stuff, and it seemed fairly benign.
Yeah.
I mean, again, not making light of anyone getting hit by a car and dying, but it just seemed like, oh, it was legitimately an accident, a horrible accident. He must feel so terrible. Her poor family. I hope it was quick. You know, if she got hit, that it was quick. And then more details came out about how, because again, I'm like, oh, he hits her. Everybody comes rushing out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, no, it was on purpose. What was on purpose? He hit her on purpose? Then we find out, no, there's a whole abduction, missing person element that was revealed. And then now, of course, all the information is out.
Yeah, it's interesting how, like, I'm just thinking as you were talking that, like, when we hear about a thing isn't always when it happens. Sometimes it comes out during the trial, but some things kind of pick up steam before a trial. This is
Right.
interesting that this didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I still had no information, like, 4 years later, until more came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, holy shit, we've been privy to so much information, and some of it is burned into our brains. But I'll go ahead and get us started introducing the little girl, Athena Strand, in the case. So this case takes us to Paradise, Texas, which has a population of under 1,000 people. It's known for rolling prairies, quiet, safe living, and a highly rated school district. Paradise, about 40 miles from Fort Worth, offers quiet streets, big skies, and mature trees. And for a little girl with a big imagination, one can picture the outdoors as an endless playground where a distant pear tree offers shade for a child and her Barbies, space to play, to run and tumble as the great big Texas sky turns to night, becoming navy blue, like a blanket covered in bright yellow stars, a blanket to cover a little girl as she dreams of her mother's farm, of baby chicks, horses, turkeys, of new toys, outfits for her Barbies, her friends, of getting older, turning 8, turning 9, turning 10 even. And we're offered images. A 7-year-old girl with long honey-colored hair and a shirt with "We Are Family" emblazoned across the front. In another image, the same girl, her profile now, kisses a horse on his muzzle. There are videos as well. The little girl at age 3 dancing in front of the television as Elsa belts out "Let It Go." And at age 5 being woken up by her mother saying, "I love you, Athena." And the little girl smiles. sleepily and says, "I love you too." But there's another image, frozen from video, black and white, of the same little 7-year-old girl from inside a FedEx truck, her hands grasp either side of the opening separating the back of the truck to the front of the cab. She seems to be trying to steady herself as the driver looks on, steering the vehicle. The girl's eyes are wide and her mouth is slightly open as though in the middle of speaking, asking, "Where are you taking me?" Or "Are you a kidnapper?" Both are questions we know she asked. This is the last image we have of 7-year-old Athena Strand alive before she was tortured and murdered by 31-year-old delivery driver Tanner Horner on November 30th, 2022. So we can go back to earlier in that day. She was at school. According to her teacher, she had a kind of a rough day, a day that was punctuated by her, talking when she wasn't supposed to, maybe being a little bit restless, and the challenges you have when you're 7 and you're distracted. You're distracted at school, and we know this from the teacher's testimony when she was, talking about Athena's last day and her giving Athena a hug and saying, "Hey, it's okay. We're gonna have tomorrow will be a better day."
Mm.
And then she told her she loved her, and I think sent a note home for Athena's father and stepmother, just saying, Athena's got to work on not talking during class. And then Athena went home and was playing, and her stepmother Ashley told her, "Hey, Athena, you got to sort your clothes for laundry. I'm gonna go make dinner." And Ashley went to the kitchen to make dinner, and then Athena presumably did her chores, or maybe didn't,
Mhm.
but she wasn't in the house when Ashley finished making dinner, maybe half hour or so later, and went looking for her, and Athena wasn't there. And there's like an aerial shot kind of the Strand home. And I want to say that there was like some add-ons that like the family was kind of living in while they were renovating. So I
Mm.
think Athena was like had a room that was like a kind of converted, like an ADU almost, that she was
Mhm.
living in, or where her room was. And lots of space, lots of land.
Mm.
Easy to imagine a kid getting distracted and taken off to go play, which I think is what
Mhm.
Ashley had initially thought. So she went looking for Athena, wasn't initially concerned, wasn't worried, just figured that maybe Athena had gone up the hill to, there's some more family that lived up the hill.
Mhm.
I think Athena would play with some cousins or other kids. But it became worrisome when Athena could not be found, when Ashley couldn't find her. So she contacted Athena's father, and he immediately turned around. He had gone on a hunting trip with his
Mm.
father, and prior to leaving, he comments on how Athena gave him a big hug before he left on this trip that evening,
Mm.
and then she went after him for another hug. And then he left. And so he immediately turned around when Athena couldn't be found. And in his testimony, he says he also wasn't initially worried because she's like a she's like a tomboy. She was like a mix, like she was a tomboy who liked her Barbies. So she
Mhm.
kind of combined the two and like take her Barbies out and play games out in the dirt and stuff.
Mhm.
But he said she was like a big hide and seek kid. So he wasn't too worried, but that's like a big property. But he also knew the property really well, so he wanted to make sure that he could come back and like look in all the spots that people might not think to look.
Mhm.
She was not found. They call the police. They start a search, and when investigators come in, someone notices that there's a package just sitting,
Oof.
a lone package just sitting out in front.
That would be that I was thinking about that, like, the best place to hide something is right out in the open. That could have gone totally unnoticed,
Mhm.
right? Like, it could have
Yeah.
easily slipped by somebody. because it's near Christmas time.
People will leave packages out, especially
Mhm.
they're in such a rural area. It
Mhm.
would just be easy to just not think,
Mhm.
when I go to Cadence, there's like boxes sometimes that just go untouched because deliveries happen, especially when there's renovations.
Yeah.
Things just get dropped off and you leave them. Oh, well, that's an outdoor thing. I'm going to leave that box outdoors. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it might have been the only package because I don't think there were any other deliveries. It was just Travis or Tanner.
Also, you'd think, like, how stupid could that person be? Like, if it was the person who left the pack. But they might have been thinking it could be a witness or something too.
I also like one of the we'll get into it, but there's one thing, there's a component to this that reminds me of Peter Madsen, which is
Mm,
funny because Peter Madsen, you could argue as like a fairly advanced IQ, a very like an engineering mind, and that Tanner Horner, was had many deficits. But the one thing that both seem to have in common is like their impulses
yeah.
and their desire overrode any logic or reasoning. Not to say that
Yes.
Tanner had any to begin with,
Yeah.
but with like someone like Peter Madsen, when it's like, okay, cool. So you're the last person. Everyone and their mother knows that you have this journalist with you. Everyone and your mother, and there's CCTV footage showing her getting on your fucking submarine. How do you think you're going to get away with this? And he didn't,
Is it like
you know.
stupidity or hubris or both? Or,
It's
yeah.
hubris for sure,
Yeah.
and then also just, like, this
Yeah.
overwhelming urge, it's
Yeah.
like the not thinking at all.
And they both were frustrated in the lead up to the
Yeah,
crimes. They both were having a difficult interpersonal time.
a difficult interpersonal time and then also thwarted efforts, like because
Yes.
Peter Madsen, Kim Valls was not his first, like, he had wanted to take another woman down who refused to go, and I bet she fucking has nightmares because that could have been her.
Ooh, impotence.
Oh, and
They
impotence.
both had impotence. Right, yeah, and he was gonna do whoever he could get.
Right, and
Right.
sadomasochistic preoccupations,
Mhm.
both of them had those
Mhm.
as well. But anyway, so investigators see the package and they know, okay, someone was here. Someone dropped this off because that package wasn't there probably earlier in the day. Ashley would have noticed. People would have noticed, right? Athena would have noticed. And then so a delivery guy maybe the delivery guy saw something. Maybe the delivery guy is involved. But clearly there was someone there prior to Athena or just after Athena was taken. Someone must have seen something.
Mhm.
And the thing with Tanner Horner is pretty quickly he just turns to Jello, right? When they question him, and that's where it comes out. He comes out with, "I accidentally hit her and I panicked, and so I took her body and I hit it." Someone, they're like, what are you talking about?" And then of course, there's the video footage that the FedEx truck has with the backup the cameras. That never happened. He never hit anybody. What they saw was him lifting Athena Strand into the truck, getting into the truck, driving her, coming up to the front, and that frozen image, the video screenshot of her like holding
Oh.
on and like looking. She looks fine. She doesn't look injured. She's interacting. He's calm as he's driving.
Mhm.
So it becomes clear that this was not an I accidentally hit this kid and panicked and got her body in the truck and wanted to get rid of her because it looked really bad and I was scared and all that. So we learned that by all accounts, this was a case of an abduction. And then we find out that an abduction, a sexual assault, and murder. And so, yeah, Tanner's stories kept falling apart. He kept trying to come up with different things that he accidentally hit her and she died, that he accidentally hit her. He was worried that she would tell on him, so he strangles her and she dies.
Yeah, he said he was doing cocaine and she saw him doing cocaine and she was gonna tell on him, but then they tested his blood and he had no drugs in it, no cocaine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's frightening because you can imagine you can imagine her seeing this delivery truck approaching and
Mhm.
her excitement because it's close to Christmas, and the delivery driver's bringing packages, and maybe one of those packages is for her, and you can imagine her just being excited. And as we've discussed, Shannon, as you and I have discussed, how scary it is, because who the fuck can you trust anymore,
I
right? They live in a town with less than 1,000 people. You think that a delivery driver, a mailman, that these people are safe for the most part. I mean, not that you're going to like just go get in their car with them and drive somewhere, but just that they're doing their job.
yeah.
Like, why would he kidnap this little kid and take off with her and do all these terrible things and then leave her body somewhere? Why would he do that? Doesn't he have a job to do? Why would he interrupt his workday to commit this crime? Like, why isn't she safe just standing in front of her house
Yeah.
in this little safe fucking town?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't he just hand her the package and then drive away? It's we have these thoughts that these people are relatively safe. He's in a
Yeah.
uniform. He's working. We see all the time. I see these TikToks where it's like these UPS, FedEx drivers, and they're like doing these heroic things. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they come up and they're well, there was that one I told you, this woman who left a note at this house because this dog was having a medical emergency, and she
Oh,
took the dog to the vet.
that's so sweet.
Yeah, she left a note. She's like, "Hey, I think this is your dog. I took him to the vet."
Was she FedEx?
I'm not sure what delivery service she was with,
So
but
there are 2 classes now of delivery drivers, right? There's, like,
okay.
FedEx, where you're like, they've been vetted, I'm sure they've had a background check. We know now that's obliterated, right? Like, forevermore, I will associate FedEx drivers with a potential murderer. It's like system update.
Well, so Tanner Horner, what he wasn't a FedEx employee. He was I think because of the holidays, FedEx would work with these, like,
Yes.
outsourcing these organizations to help with the influx of packages. So FedEx, he was not a FedEx employee, as I understand it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, like, the other class of driver is now these random people that work for Amazon who are just like Uber. It's like Uber Eats for Amazon. Like, they're just regular people. There's a guy in LA during the holidays who was a driver for Amazon who stole a woman's cat.
Yes, you told me. Yeah,
That's just like brutal. It was so awful to watch.
yeah.
And then he didn't know where it was afterward. And of course, there are lots of theories about what he did with the cat. But, it seems like, we've got these different layers of people who are coming to our houses now and bringing us things, and we don't know what their backgrounds are, which is, I mean, this sort of woke me up to it, I think. That and the cat theft, the catnapping. But anyway, so it's right. You're I think in our collective minds, though, we see the brown uniform from UPS and we think this person's safe.
Yeah, again, you're not safe as in you're inviting them into your
Yeah.
house to hang out, but like there's a reasonable degree of security you would feel with, the like Athena, again, speculating, maybe she's just playing out front, and then the delivery driver comes up and she runs up to receive the package, and you see that. I see it in my neighborhood all
Yeah.
the time. You think you're safe. There's no I get pissed because there were some comments early on where somebody's like, Athena's mother should have been watching her. Well, where was the mother? I'm like, the stepmom, her mother,
Yeah.
one of her mothers, because Ashley had been helping with her since she was like 2, I think, like little.
Mhm.
Ashley's making dinner, dude. She's making dinner. They live in this small fucking town. They live in this rural area where everyone kind of, like, you probably know your neighbors, and your neighbors live really far down the street or whatever.
Yes.
What is this? Did she? Did she need to be like sitting on Athena's shoulders, like watching every fucking movement she made?
I hate those comments.
Yeah, and Athena, she didn't know if Athena went outside. She said, "Do your chores. I'm going to go make dinner." Athena, maybe she sorted her laundry quickly, knew she had time, so she just went outside. Maybe she saw through the window a delivery truck is approaching, so she runs out there. Who knows?
You just can't hyper vigilantly monitor your child 24/7. That just doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by that same argument, well, where was Polly Kloss's mother?
Yeah. In the house.
Yeah, why wasn't she sitting in the corner watching her daughter have a slumber party with her friends? She's the reason why Richard Allen Davis broke in and killed her. Like, that's the same fucking logic.
People just really, they just want to blame someone. I think it makes people feel better to just dump blame on someone, right? Like you get that
Right.
like knee jerk. I hear that all the time. And it's always the poor mom. Like,
Well, it's born out of this kind of terror,
yeah,
because if it can be uh, Athena's stepmom Ashley's fault, then all we need to do is just keep a better eye on our kids,
totally.
and nothing bad will happen. And
Totally. And
so,
right.
yeah, I get it. I get that to a degree. So Jacob and Ashley's marriage did not survive this.
Uh-huh.
That happens. It's very, very common. And once Athena was reported missing and everything was happening, Maitland, who is Athena's biological mother, her mother. So Jacob and Maitland shared custody, and I think they had a good co-parenting relationship. But Maitland drove like so fast from Oklahoma to come and see her daughter, or try to find her daughter, I think.
Mm.
But she had to identify Athena. When they
Oy.
found Athena in a ditch like 12 miles away, she was submerged in water. She was naked, and one of the work people that was, whose job it was to find her, the searchers, the law enforcement, medical personnel, emergency response, like everyone that was involved, that one of them found her and described her as sort of angel like, her face under the water. I think of like the
Mhm.
death of Ophelia, under the water.
Mm. Did you hear the attorney object to that when they said that in the trial?
Oh, that she was angel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, she wasn't a literal angel. She was a human, a deceased human. Sorry about that. But yeah, Athena's mother identified her daughter. There were signs of trauma to her body. There was like shoe impressions on her daughter's face and chest, consistent with the tread on the bottom of Tanner Horner's shoes that he had stepped on her, which I can imagine. I mean, he was like 230 pounds just standing on this
Oh.
little girl who's like less than 70 pounds. And it's so sad because Athena's mother talked about like wandering through Walmart to look for clothes to put her daughter in, like
Oh my god.
clothing and makeup to cover the bruises on her, and to find bows for her hair because she loved bows. And the details of the abuse, which I'm sure that our listeners are familiar with if they haven't heard from reporters, you know, kind of describing what was done and said in the FedEx truck recordings. It's pretty awful. There's video footage, and then at the point that Tanner Horner is, getting ready to go into the back of the truck, he puts he covers the camera, but there's still audio. And the audio is really where it's clear that she was, brutalized for at least an hour, about an hour. And so that was played in the courtroom for the jury, and that the judge gave warning. He said, whoever if you can't, if this is something that is going to, if you can't handle this, if you don't think you're going to be able to handle this, this is a lot, you can leave the courtroom. So Athena's family left the courtroom. Some jurors did leave, and the ones that stayed, many of them were sobbing, were having very strong reactions to what they were hearing. Because what they were hearing was unimaginable. A 7-year-old child who's confused by what's happening, who's terrified, and also enduring pain and suffering. And
Mm.
Tanner Horner, it's so, there are some moments like he tells her, you're pretty, right? And she seems to, there are moments where it's clear she's it's registering to her that she's in danger.
Yeah, because he asked her to take her shirt off.
And then she asks him why, and he says,
Mhm.
because you're pretty.
Ugh.
And then she says, my mom says that I'm not supposed to do that, and you're not supposed to do it either. And you can almost imagine
Mm.
Athena's mom at some point saying, no one is allowed, you can't take your clothes off for people, and you can't tell them to do it either, you know. And she's repeating what she has been told.
Mm.
And it really makes it clear just how young and innocent she is. She doesn't understand what's happening. She's afraid of what's happening. And then she's pleading with him, please take me home. I want my mama. I want my mama. Please
Mm.
take me home. And she's helpless. And he hurts her. And he, by all accounts, unfortunately, that there wasn't, I don't think there was indication of any kind of like penetration to her body, but his DNA was found all over her body in places where it shouldn't have been, which seems to indicate sexual assault. She fought as best as she could.
Mhm.
His DNA was also found under her fingernails. She fought as best as she could.
Mm.
He would try to strangle her to death. She'd come to after a while, start crying. And then he just kept yelling at her, calling her names.
Ugh.
Sorry, guys. I'm just like kind of
Yeah.
relaying all of this because it's also astonishing.
You just imagine, what it's like, right? It's like being pulled into the lion's den. Like she didn't have a chance. And, you know, he could do whatever he wanted to her. She was trapped. And it's awful.
Yeah. And I think that the aspect of this that is just is so terrifying, I think, for a lot of people and especially a lot of parents, is that this wasn't a case of her just like wandering down a street in a dangerous area. This wasn't her being somewhere she wasn't supposed to be, whether by accident or on purpose or having neglectful parents. She was very, very well loved. She very, very well loved, and well cared for.
Mhm.
She was, it brings to mind the Polly Klaas case again.
Yeah.
Polly Klaas is just, she's doing nothing wrong. She didn't sneak out of the house. And again, when I say that, nothing bad should happen to children, period. Like
Yes.
nothing bad should happen to kids ever. I mean, nothing bad should happen to anyone, but
Wouldn't that be nice?
especially children. Yeah, wouldn't that
Yeah. Well,
we
nothing bad should happen to children at the hands of people.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. But
I mean,
but
and animals, I hope. But
right. But this was a case of like in the case of Polly Klaas, like these kids not doing anything wrong. They're at home. They should be safe. They're supposed to be safe. Under any other circumstances, they would be safe, and they weren't. And Athena wasn't.
That case, it reminds me, when I was a kid, my dad was a cop, so I would think about this stuff all the time because he would tell stories. And I remember being in my house one night. I think it was during after the Golden State Killer stuff had been going on, but and maybe it was Richard Ramirez down in LA.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking, laying in my bed at night and going, the only thing that separates me from these people is this window. Like, we have that was high trust there, right? Like, the only thing separating us from someone who wants to like kill us is our door locks, and then these open glass windows that anybody, and Polly Klaas was the case I think that really drove that home. Like,
Oh, Richard, Allen Davis just walked into her fucking
ugh,
house. Like, he just
ugh,
walked in there, and she lived in Petaluma. She
I
lived in,
know,
like,
I know,
safe area. It was random, and
and
I'd like to
brazen,
point out that
yeah,
it's very unusual, and even
yeah,
this case with Athena Strand, this is highly unusual.
yeah,
Same thing with Adam Walsh at Sears,
yeah,
just standing on one aisle, looking at a Atari video game display. His mother goes down another aisle, grabs a lamp, comes back, and he's gone.
ugh,
How many times have we as children sat in the toy aisle or like in the magazine section looking at comic books while our parents grocery shop or buy things, and we're fine,
yeah,
and
I
we're
know,
fine, you
hmm
know? Little kids I see in my neighborhood, sitting out front with their stuff, and I see Amazon trucks all the time dropping things off, and everything's fine. So
I know.
I think that's where there's a lot of horror with this too, is that it was. I mean, there's so many aspects. One is it's so close to the holidays, and you're imagining her just being excited.
And the Barbies, they were like, "You can be anything Barbies."
Yes, you can be anything, a set of Barbies in a package that she would never open.
Ugh,
And the sick joke of it.
ugh, yeah, I
You
know.
you you can be anything, and she's dead, and she was a kid who dreamed big and had a big imagination, and was exuberant and had all kinds of had such a great little life. She had a
Yeah.
great life when she was in Oklahoma with her mom, and her mom had that cool farm, and she got to carry around turkeys and chickens, and she would laugh, and then she's in Texas with her dad and her stepmom, and she had a good little life. And then the manner in which she died, it wasn't even fucking quick. It couldn't be quick.
Oh
It
god.
was this ordeal. It was this fucking ordeal.
And then during the ordeal, the way they described it during the trial, it's like he got madder and madder and weirder as she wouldn't die, and just more violent and more. But the therapist person who was testifying, kind of, I think she was sort of framing it as like distressed and dysregulated. But, you know, when I think about a human predator, I think about that glitch or whatever, that like thing where it's just like this sort of just animalistic destruction, just sort of like clawing and screaming and raging. And it just must have been, I mean, I just hope, like we talked about, I just hope that she was kind of in another place by then, like physically, emotionally, like not having to endure all of that for that whole time, you know?
Right, that her physical responses were just physical responses, but she was in shock in somewhere
Mhm.
else. I hope so. I mean, we hear about it, right? We hear about people who, survive these unsurvivable things, and where they go, like Alice and Botha,
Oh, I was just
just
thinking
going
about her.
somewhere else, or your friend that had endured like a brutal rape and was floating above herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with Tanner Horner, based on kind of descriptions, I imagine him being angry and confused about the fact that she wasn't dying as easily as he thought she would.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she's going to react strongly. And so he gets frustrated and angry, and probably like feelings of being the loser failure he was, getting
Yeah.
also angry at himself and then projecting it onto her, that he's not able to, that the act of killing another person is a lot more challenging. Even a child, it's not that easy to do.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
he hadn't, far as we know, he had never killed anyone else, but in this situation he was getting frustrated and more and more angry.
Mm.
And then, if disposing of her body, holding onto her clothes, I suppose, as a souvenir, because
Oh.
I don't know if he's gonna leave her body there. There's
Mhm.
plenty of identifying factors on her body that people will know it's her. I don't know why he took her clothing.
I don't either. She evacuated her bowels in
Sure.
the thing, and he vomited after.
Right.
So the whole scene was gnarly, so I'm wondering if he was worried about DNA being on her clothes and he was gonna destroy them, or I know he got the truck. I know he talked them into letting him have the same truck the next day because he wanted to deal with the evidence that was left behind. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yes, totally souvenir, who knows? It's like it sounds like from the psychological tests and stuff that I didn't hear any of like, "I'm a serial killer and wanna go I've been fantasizing about this forever. I wanna," I didn't hear any of that. What he told the psychologist was that he was in a lot of distress because if someone and this is a lie, I think, but that he was in a lot of distress because he would lose his child and access to his child if they knew that he was doing coke and she saw him doing coke. So that I mean, that's probably a lie.
Well, yeah, if they didn't find any cocaine in his system, and then it's like, I can think of a lot of things why you probably should be worried about not having access to your kid, like,
Yeah.
assaulting, torturing, and murdering, someone, a child, you know?
What a lunatic.
Yeah, this trial. So right now that he's, again, he confessed, he pleaded guilty, and so the trial now, it's a sentencing trial where they're determining what the jury needs to determine whether he will spend the rest of his life behind bars or whether he will be sentenced to death. So I know there's a lot of people that don't understand, even have like the most basic kind of understanding of the legal system. They're like, why don't they just kill him?
I know. He was suicidal. He try to kill himself?
Supposedly, I always say in these cases with these types of people, they're so, I don't think you do this kind of shit and that you're not like nihilistic, that
Yeah.
you don't clearly don't value life. You
Yeah.
certainly don't even really value your own a lot of times. But, a lot of folks don't understand that even if he's sentenced to death, which I have a feeling he's going to be sentenced to death. That's
Really?
I feel like he is.
Yeah.
I
In
feel like he
Texas,
is.
they'll kill him though, right? Because Texas does do their
They do. I mean, yeah, there's no like moratorium on the executions. But I don't think there's any question that he should not be allowed out in the world. Not even just simply based on this horrible fucking thing that he did, but that someone like him would reoffend. I think he's someone. If he hadn't been caught with the Athena Strand case, he would have reoffended. I think he was going to reoffend. And then who knows if he would just keep it to his preoccupation. So they were saying this is clearly premeditated. He had thought about doing it even the day before because he
wow.
covered up the camera in his truck when he was approaching a house
Oh,
where
so anybody, right? Like, it wasn't just
any little
her,
girl.
any little girl. Oh, okay.
There was a house not far from the Strand house where he had covered up the camera as he was approaching this home that had children. But I want to say one of the parents, both of the parents, there were some adults that it was clearly not safe for him to abduct any of the children at that point.
Wow, so this was him kind of starting his career as a
Yeah, something was ramping up in him where he was feeling the urge to act out on some fantasies. Now, why he was choosing, so also apparently with his fiance, he was into role playing where she was playing younger than she was.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then, oh yeah, and then there were those two girls who he had. Um,
Sexually assaulted them, the 16-year-old,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
One
When
of them was 16.
I told Tim he was in a band, he's in a band. He's like, "What's the band's name?" I think it's
What
like
kind of music? What was it? Was it like metal or something?
probably. Oh, look at the band name. Oh, oh my god. So it was called. This is interesting. Commit and Conquer.
Okay. What a dork.
Such a dork. Oh my god. Did you see that picture of him where his hat has a little cap on sideways?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's definitely some Arrested Development there, right? Like,
For sure. The guy, I mean, he was born in a, terrible, terrible circumstances. And yeah.
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't, obviously, he didn't have a great upbringing. Obviously, right? Like, tell me someone like this that commits these types of crimes that there weren't problems. But it's almost like, and I know you and I were talking at length about this. It's sort of like a moot point. Like,
Yeah.
okay, okay, I'm sorry that he went through some shit. I'm sorry that his mom drank and smoked and did drugs when she was pregnant with him. I'm sorry he was picked on. I'm sorry that all these terrible things happened.
Sorry he lived in a shed.
Yeah, I'm sorry he lived in a shed and that he didn't do his laundry. Like, I'm sorry. Sorry that things weren't so great for him. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people in this country.
A lot of people who don't do stuff like that. Yeah.
And then don't go and do these things. And then even my thing is this. Would it even be possible for him to be rehabilitated?
That's a big question. I ask myself that all the time. I think there's the public safety aspect, right? Where you have to make
Mhm.
a judgment about that and you have to say this person's going to spend the rest of their life in prison. And how, then we can have the whole conversation about like, well, what do we think should be like in prison and what do we owe people, if they've done something like this in our society? Do we still treat them like people or do we just throw them to the wolves and whatever? But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like, I mean, they could try, but given all this, so that they put the mitigating stuff out right during sentencing to try to soften it so that he doesn't get the death penalty, essentially, I think, so like he's a human, let's humanize him a little bit so that he doesn't get the death penalty. We know he did it, and so I get it. I understand it's an important part of the whole process to offer
Right.
this information up and to contextualize his behavior. But yeah, I think it remains to be seen. I mean, I think people are only rehabilitatable if they are kind of like willing, to do that work and get the
Right.
treatment and all that. But I don't know because we don't. Yeah, the kid. It seems like people who assault children and have like pedophilia. That seems hard to rehab.
Oh, I
That's
don't think you can. I
yeah.
really don't think you can. I don't think so. And
Mhm.
when I talk about like, would it be possible for him to be rehabilitated? That's not even me saying like that they should try and then release him into the
Right. Yeah.
population.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not it at all.
He should be
And
behind bars forever. Yeah.
he should absolutely be behind bars forever or, sentenced to death. I have my issues with the death penalty. What's weird is I have my issues with the death penalty, but I'm absolutely for people killing those people. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it's a thing of like, hey, Tanner Horner, here's the deal. You're not going to get life in prison. You're not going to go on death row, but you are going to go into a room with Athena Strand's family, and they're
Mhm.
going to and you got to figure out what you're going to do because they're going to fucking kill you. Like
Yeah.
that I'm all for that.
Ooh,
That
like an escape room or something. Like
kind of like that. It's again, I always in my mind I go to that video. You can find it
oh, I
online.
love this video.
The video of the it was in the 80s, and it was the father whose son was kidnapped and taken and sexually molested by like a coach.
Yep.
His young son kidnapped, sexually abused by a coach, and they get the guy, and they're bringing him through the airport. He's cuffed, and they're taking him to jail, presumably.
Mhm.
And you see it, and the father, it's like on news camera, and it's so cool. And the
Yeah.
dad just spins around. He's got like these fucking sunglasses on. He's got a gun, and he just shoots the guy. And the father got a slap on the wrist because ain't no one gonna fucking argue
It's so
with
true.
that.
Everybody got it. Yeah.
And that is pure justice. Like, that is the purest form. It was, the father was gonna do what a father is supposed to fucking do. He's gonna he couldn't necessarily protect his son because this dude was somebody that was supposed to be trusted, but he sure as shit was going to avenge his son.
Mhm.
He did something that was like very, very, it felt correct.
I know,
Do you know what I mean?
it's so interesting. It's like we have to have all these things so we can be a functioning society. Like we have to have these laws and rules and things we do, but then there's something satisfying about vigilante justice. But it can be the other way. Like you have like the Luigi Mangione stuff and then it's like
Right.
no, 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 we can't all be doing that. But in these cases, I feel like all of us get it, right? Not that all of us would do it, but we get it why someone would do
Yeah.
that. And I showed you those tweets I saw. So like, there's this thing on Twitter that kept showing up in my feed, and like, and I don't know if this is really true, but they were saying like the reason we could function as a society is because we used to kill these people off, and maybe that was like pre-prison era. It gets a
Sure.
little bit like eugenicsy, like we're culling the herd and we're
Yeah,
pulling
we
out
gotta
all the
be real
yeah
careful. We gotta
yeah
be real careful when it comes to that.
yeah.
And also, justice doesn't always play out. Like someone was
Mhm.
pointing out in the case of, I wish I could remember the names of these people. And every Father's Day, somebody posts it. It's like Happy
Yeah.
Father's Day, and it's awesome. But someone had pointed out that, like, had the father not shot the guy, he probably wouldn't have served very long. And
That's the worst thing about it,
yes,
because he didn't kill him.
yeah, and he would probably reoffend
Of course he would.
because he's a child molester. I guess the son was questioned about it years, decades later, and he said he understood why his father did it, but he didn't think his father should have done it, but he
Yeah,
understood why his father did it.
yeah,
I understand that as well.
yeah.
I understand, but like that's a dad being a dad. That's a dad doing what fathers are supposed to do. And that's just how I feel about it.
My dad would do that for sure. I'm
100%.
also, "Don't nobody touch me, my dad's still
Yeah.
alive."
Yeah. He could be like super duper like fucking old. He's like, "Damn it," complaining as he gets into his truck with his shotgun. He's like, "Ah, I'm tired, but I got to do this."
Big
Yeah.
Jim's coming for you, and he has an assault rifle.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, so we get to that well, I'm going to say uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because I don't know. I don't think that there is a legal solution that's really going to satisfy everyone, because I
Mhm.
look at something like this, like what Tanner Horner did to this little girl, this
Mm.
absolutely monstrous, barbaric act. I'm sorry if he suffered as a kid. I think it's tragic. I wish life had been different for him. If life had been different for him, this probably never would have fucking happened. Probably, right?
But even that, but you're right. I mean, it's not causal. I mean,
No,
right? It's not
but he's
causal.
broken. He
Yeah,
is broken. And
yeah.
that's really what it comes down to. It's like, yeah, if you're going to euthanize a pit bull because it mauled a baby to death, and again, I'm not trying to compare a human life to an animal life, even though I do all the time and I prefer animals.
Yeah, me too.
But we do that because there is the likelihood of that pit bull being able to reintegrate into society or be safely in another home where something like that wouldn't happen. It's not certain.
Yes.
And that the dog is sort of seen as broken, and so you euthanize the dog, and you see it. I guess the idea is it's in the best interest of the dog and the people. And in Tanner Horner's case, it's like he's clearly someone who will stomp a little girl, rape her, scream at her, torture her and strangle her and feel zero remorse and sing Jingle Bell Rock as you're driving your truck like nothing fucking happened and have zero remorse. That man had zero remorse. And even if he had remorse afterwards,
Yeah, his psychologist thinks he did, but she's just
well,
yeah, she's invested. But, I think you're right. I mean, think about what's happening right now. How people are doing all kinds of heinous things and it's like a revolving door. I mean, my dad's been talking about this since I was a kid. It's been happening since I was a kid. People go into jail, we let them out. They offend 40 times, 50 times, and then next thing you know, they set someone on fire and throw them in front of the subway.
right,
Like it's wild. Like if a dog eats a kid's face, we put the dog down because it's like that dog will probably eat someone else's face.
right.
And but somehow I think I understand there's that tension, right, between like wanting to be humane and wanting to believe that maybe we owe something to people because they're our fellow humans. And I sort of feel like in my highest self, I'm like, okay, if somebody does something like this, they spend the rest of their life in jail, prison, whatever. But like, let's give them a chance to redeem themselves. And if they can, great. If they can't, we're safely away from them. But if they can, that to me is like the highest form of justice or something, right? Like if they could, it'd be like, whoa, okay.
There are some factors that I think. I mean, I suppose, we there's always the comfort of math and the comfort of things like statistics and things like that,
Hmm.
where we look at like what are the odds and stuff. And so like I look at someone like, for example, Carmelo Anthony, who stabbed, I think it was Austin Metcalf was his
Hmm.
name. Carmelo Anthony's a teenager. He stabbed the other high school boy in the chest, and that boy died instantly.
Hmm.
And
That was crazy.
it was absolutely crazy. And if I recall
Oh.
correctly, I think that Carmelo Anthony was found in the parking lot. And he had a strong reaction. He cried. He acted very quickly. He
Mhm.
acted. It was a crime of passion, right? It was a fight that broke out. Do I think that Carmelo Anthony can be quote unquote rehabilitated? Yes, I think so. I think that he showed remorse. It was a quick act. It was someone like him. I think it's like I don't see him number one reoffending. I think there's a maybe
Yeah, there's like it's funny. It can go either way with those cases. Like I think about them and I'm like, well, yeah, if he did it out of like shame because he's a narcissist and he like couldn't handle being told to move or whatever, and then he's crying because of his own ass is on the line. That's different from feeling remorse. Like just like external stuff that you see. Is it what is it? What is
right.
why is he crying? Yeah, I don't know. Like that kind of lack of impulse. That's wild to do that.
Yeah, and I still do not know. I'm speaking just based on what I remember.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
even
he's a
know if it's
kid too.
he's a kid. He didn't lure Austin into his car, take him to another location, torture him, and do all of these things. His it was this he's riding high on testosterone and teenager feelings, and
And you can learn.
you can learn.
You can learn how to manage your feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, he can learn. There's a reasonable expectation that with counseling and some intervention that he will be okay. Do you know what I mean?
Well, if you think about like our layers, right? Like you get the kid layer of our learning and experience, right? That stuff is in there, right? And that's there. And then you have this other layer of like in terms of like our developmental epochs, right? Like then you have like young adult, teenager, and then that gets really in there. So if you catch somebody there before they're like a full, you can it's not as, they're a little bit more malleable. There's a little bit more
Right.
like it's not so set and it's not driving this other stuff. Like if you got this down here and this here, it drives like this layer where the layer you're in when you're in the world. And it's hard to get down there and change that stuff. So if someone has been, like he's how old was he? 31. He'd
Oh,
lived this
yes.
sort of miserable, difficult life where he'd been bullied and,
And
all this.
apparently he was abusive towards his fiancée. Like, I saw something about did you see the thing about the psychologist saying he'd put out cigarettes on her,
Oh
on
god,
his
no.
fiancée?
Ugh, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, like, this was not
This isn't they try to paint him as like Lenny from Of Mice and Men, right? Like it was a "Tell me about the rabbits" moment or
"Tell
something,
me
and I'm
about the
like,
rabbits, George." I'm like, there was nothing Lenny about this guy. He did
yeah,
not hug his fiancée to death or whatever Lenny does, like, strangling, what is it?
a rabbit because he was holding it too tight or something.
Oh, no,
Oh, the lady.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the lady started to scream, and he's like, "Shh, shh, shh, shh," and he didn't mean to. He strangled her to death. Yeah, none of this was an accident. None of this
Mhm,
was an
mhm.
accident. Like this is every indication with what Tanner Horner did. He knew what he was about to do. He had been planning to do it. He was deceptive. He was manipulative. He showed no remorse, and he was arrogant. And at the end, only was thinking about himself.
Yeah,
Only thinking about himself. Like again, I'll just say if it was up to me, I'd say life in prison
yeah.
because again, at the very least with the appeals process
Mhm.
and he in all likelihood they were going to exhaust the appeals process. He probably could have lived out the rest of his life. I don't think that there's anything that would satisfy anyone except like the possibility of prison justice
Yeah, that
or
uh-huh.
yeah, or that Jacob and Maitland could kill him with their own bare hands. That would really feel like it would satisfy. Because like again, lethal injection. He gets a good meal beforehand. He gets to live out his days, safely protected from general population being on death row. Like, is that really justice?
Right, I
You know
know.
what I mean? Like I don't know if I had to decide between life in prison, death row, and Jacob and Maitland getting their hands on him, I would say Jacob and Maitland getting their hands on him because I feel like that's the only thing that would satisfy probably all of us, short of somehow miraculously bringing Athena Strand back to life.
Oh god. He had sex with his wife. He went home and had sex with his fiancée afterward too, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure he was thinking about what he fucking did too the whole
Ugh.
time.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I definitely I that's interesting. So you think they're gonna he'll get the death penalty?
I feel like he will. I think he will, and I think that if he didn't, there would be a huge backlash. But I think that especially after I don't think anybody. Okay, I didn't hear the recording, right?
Mhm,
Obviously,
mhm.
none of us are privy to that. We only hear what was said on it. I can't fucking get it out of my head. Like I was crying when I read the
Oh, I
transcript,
didn't read
right?
it. Yeah,
Well,
is
I
it
mean,
it's
not
yeah.
just reading the lines when she's like, "I want my mommy. I want my mommy.
Oh
Please,
god.
please, please
Oh my
take me
god.
home. I want to go home." And then asking questions, "Why are you doing this?" And why are you doing this? And not understand. Like, it made me physically ill,
Poor
and
guy.
that's me not hearing it. So the jury heard it,
Yeah, they're
and
gonna give him the death penalty.
I can't get it out of my head, and I didn't hear it. So for them, they're probably having fucking nightmares. There's no way that guy is not getting the death penalty. There's no fucking way. And again, the Christian in me is just like I feel weird being over here distant from this and making a decision on someone's life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know it sounds weird because at the same time I'm like I would shoot him without pause if
Mhm,
I saw
mhm,
him. I
mhm.
would do it because that feels natural.
Yeah, even Tim was like, "Kill him." Like
R right, but, it's like what is it? Bergman's movie, The Virgin Spring,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, yeah. That's justice. Like, that feels organic. When
Mhm.
it comes to, like, institutions making a decision about whether someone gets to live or die, that's where I'm like, it makes me feel weird. But
Yeah.
it's not me being like, "Oh, let's take mercy on him." No, he's broken. He should never be reintegrated into society. He's dangerous. He's a miserable person. Someone like that is already fucking tortured and tormented in his own mind. He has to live with himself. And I'm he shows no remorse, but I also think there is somebody deeply, darkly tormented inside. Life in
Yeah.
prison, he has to live with himself, and he'll probably get taken out in prison anyway.
Yeah, did you hear his jail cellmate or this buddy from jail talking about how he was in jail? He just
Uh-uh.
doesn't get it. I mean, he doesn't people like Brian Koberger, you think about how he's gonna do, probably not well, because they just don't get it socially. He said he couldn't read social cues. He was kind of paranoid and people would just talk to him just like as in a friendly way and he likened it to like wolves and sheep and he's definitely like a sheep. They could sense his weakness and people would kind of jump
Oh,
on him. Mhm.
anybody that hurts kids, the way anybody targeting children is a fucking pussy.
Oh,
Like,
and
I
they hate
yeah,
them in prison.
yeah,
They will because many of
yeah,
those people have been abused as
yeah.
children.
Honestly, I think having to live out his life in prison is a
Worse for him.
worse for him, because death row it's a little bit of a again, if he was already, like, feeling I who knows if he was legitimately suicidal? Who knows, right? I don't know. Someone like him, I don't know, but, he would be a little he would be somebody's bitch in prison.
Mm,
He'd be taking it without lube. He'd be somebody's bitch, and maybe that's
definitely.
maybe that's what needs to happen for him. It's like, "Oh, you like sadomasochistic shit? Well, you're gonna be the sub in this, and you're gonna get your ass raped over and over and over again. Have fun,"
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
did you hear about that one guy he's actually in prison forever, and all he does is pick off child molesters. When they come in, he just kills them. And I'm like, "Wow." I mean, in a way, I get it. You know, it's I don't know, like, who are we if we don't I mean, there's the argument to be made that's like, if they're separated from us, then we're okay. Like, but we're still having to pay for them and with them, our tax dollars to keep them alive. But I mean, it just makes sense from a survival perspective as a society or as like a tribe. If somebody is running around hurting you, you have to do something with them. You can ship them to Australia. You can, right? Like you can do things with them.
Send them to the outback. Let the dingoes have their way.
Maybe the
Crikey.
dingo ate your criminal. um so yeah, so anyways, but I'm just thinking about how like I get it. Like for me, I would personally, I think it would be better to just put him in jail forever, prison forever, because there's so much that goes into these death row cases where it just gets drawn out.
Oh, it costs more. It costs more to put prisoner so when Adam did his presentation and he was tasked with arguing against the death penalty, and if I recall correctly, it costs more because of the appeals process to have a prisoner on death row than in a regular prison. It costs
Yeah,
the taxpayers more. And again, I think when people are satisfied with somebody being, given the death penalty, they don't understand how long that appeals process is. It's not like they get charged with it and then it's, and then they get taken out within a year. It's years upon years. Many people, many death row inmates like live entire lives on death row.
yeah. Scott Peterson, isn't he on death row?
He was, but I think
Oh yeah, he's off now.
but he's in California, and there's a
We don't kill people.
moratorium.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Texas, they kill people.
they do. They do.
The Texas governor would not order a stay. I'm doubting. I don't think he would ever do that. A stay of execution.
Well, not especially not yeah.
Not for this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the impulse makes sense to me. It just feels like a primal kind of and then I
Sure.
think what stops people is this idea of like, well, I want to be a humane person. I remember when I was like studying philosophy in college, I was like, I'm a pacifist, because I'm such a complex thinker and I can rise above my animal nature. But I think it's just a natural response to this type of violence to just want to eradicate the threat.
And I 100% support it. And
Yeah.
if Jacob Tanner stood up in court and somehow, snuck a gun into the courtroom and shot homeboy Tanner Horner in the head, I support that. Because that's natural. Because that's what you do.
That's on him. Yeah, it's like his decision, his choice, his family, his whatever. It doesn't fall on the conscience of the jurors and
Yes.
the conscience of the voters, and like it's simple, straightforward. It's an interaction between, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, and I think about that one in the comments section. I think it was in, I was the Madeline McCann one when this one person's like, "So this is what I think happened. I think that Kate McCann got attacked, and then Madeline died, and then the person that attacked Kate said, 'You better not say anything or I'll kill your family.' That's what I think happened." And someone responded to her and said, "I'm so worried that someone like you is gonna end up on a jury someday." Like, you're an idiot.
Yes.
Like, the people that we have sometimes making decisions
Oh my
based
god,
on
it
nothing.
terrifies me. I never
Yes.
wanna be tried by a jury of my peers. I'm sorry, peers. I love you, but some of you ain't that smart.
Yeah. Has anybody checked to see if maybe Tanner Horner was possessed by a demon? Maybe what he needs is an exorcism, and he's actually a nice guy. Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah. Oh god. I mean, there's so many of us, and so we're all so different in our ways of seeing the world, and, I think there are like, juries can be sort of tainted by a person who just absolutely will not change their mind about something,
like
right?
in the Gabriel Fernandez thing, remember?
Yes,
That one
yes.
guy, he just wanted to be contrarian. I wanted to, like, jump inside the screen and just, like, smack him in the head.
Totally.
I swear he just wanted to be contrarian. I
Yeah.
don't even think he believed one way or like, he's just like, "Well, I don't know. I mean, you've gotta understand, this is the guy's whole life. I mean, da 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 da," and it's like,
Oh
yeah.
god. You could
He
cut.
just wanted to and then can you imagine the rest of the jury, like, has to sit there with him,
Oh,
and they
and
have to
try to convince him. And some
right.
people just cannot be convinced. And people get on juries and they bullshit their way on sometimes, and they're completely anti death penalty or completely pro death penalty. It's like, so you have all these. It's just, yeah, it's, oh, we humans.
I know. That's when I say, like, there's just something that feels unnatural about a group of these people making decisions, and that maybe all Jacob Strand needs is a gun just smuggled into the courtroom. I'm not saying he should do it. And of course he wouldn't be able to anyway because of like the metal detectors and all that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'm not against killing these people, but I am kind of against states deciding this. Anyone making these decisions, it feels weird. That's
Well,
all.
certainly not with the way our system is. I mean, that's when,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like you could easily, I mean, so many innocent people have been killed.
Well, and you look I mean, you and I have both looked at how so many of these fucking investigations just get botched the fuck up. Look at poor Nancy Guthrie.
Oh my God,
It's fucking
no
Keystone
news.
Cops, dude. Yeah, but it's just like the whole
Uh,
thing just made it's like, who the fuck is investigating these things? And then things get botched. The John Benet Ramsey case,
yeah,
Adnan Syed, like all of the fucking West Memphis 3,
yeah.
like
Scott Peterson.
Scott Peterson. Like I'm just saying,
People are going to hate me for saying that. But everyone, I just want to admit to you right now, I think there's a chance that Scott Peterson is innocent. Feel free to blast me in the comments.
I wonder if we should do Scott
We
Peterson.
should. An updated one.
I still don't know a whole lot about it except it's his sister, right? Is it his sister
Janie,
that
sister-in-law. So his brother's wife
okay.
has been fighting for him, and they have a great website where they've got everything on the website. And now the Innocence Project in LA, it's not the same as the Innocence Project. It's the Innocence Project LA, which is a different organization.
Okay.
And so they've taken up the case and they're trying to exonerate him, and they submitted, I think there's something current right now that's being reviewed, new, whether they can actually look at new evidence. But if you look at that case, you really see how hard it is once you get into the system, to get out and to get an appeal and to get evidence reexamined. And if it wasn't for that DA in Baltimore, I don't think, or was it the attorney general in Baltimore that got Adnan off? If it wasn't for her, he'd still be in prison, I'm sure. So you have
Right.
to have somebody like really high up like that who will advocate for you.
Dude, if it wasn't for fucking Paradise Lost, that documentary,
Yeah.
Damien Eccles would probably be dead by now.
Yeah, yeah. Instead, he's on, Twitter talking about Buddhism.
Right. Saying that, didn't he say that, like, in a weird way, I think that prison, that being in like what he went through made, I don't, ironically, I think that being sentenced to death saved his life,
Absolutely, yeah. He
because that was a kid who was destined for, to either self-destruct, end up murdered, end
Yep,
up ODing. Like,
yep,
he had a fucked up life,
yep.
and now he's like an artist or
Yeah, he's
something.
really smart. He's talks about no I think he's really into, like, the non-dualism stuff in Buddhism.
He's like, his fucked up though, like his eyes are bad. He's got health problems from
Oh.
being in solitary so
Oh
often
my
and
god.
all that kind of stuff. But I mean, he'll be fine. But it is a weird kind of twist what happened. How something like that, like even for those three boys, like all three of them, kind of just probably the attention of the case. And what's sad is I believe they're innocent. I do not believe that they are guilty of killing those three little kids. I still don't know what the fuck happened to those three little
I
kids though,
know.
like who did it.
I know. It's really sad that we don't know because that person, whoever that is, I'm sure has reoffended.
Well, Alice and Brett, who did, guys, if you want to hear, if you're fixated on the West Memphis Three the way that I was for so long, I feel like Brett and Alice from the prosecutors have the best possible podcast series on that case.
Yes.
And they went into it with no skin in the game, like they had no biases.
Mhm.
And it's really interesting. They fucking worked their asses off on that case.
That
Like
was
everything
great
you could
series.
possibly want to know. Yeah, is in that case. It goes on for episodes and episode. What is it, like 15 episodes? Like they did so many episodes. But anyway, we got on to that because we were talking about Tanner Horner and Death Row. Okay.
Ooh, I have to go.
Yeah, you have to go. And I think that Tanner Horner is probably going to be sentenced to death. What do you think, Shannon?
I think he probably will be, and it might be swift because it's in Texas and they move fast, don't they? Sort
I
of.
don't know, actually.
I think just did someone else.
Wasn't it
Um,
I think it was was it Texas with Into the Abyss?
oh god, I need
That
to watch that.
documentary. It's an amazing documentary. I mean, be warned though, it's a Werner Herzog documentary. He's very, very anti-death penalty. So but yeah, like that particular kid in that case was executed within like a few years, but I
Well,
can't remember if that was Texas or not. I'll have to look. All right, thanks for listening, guys. Follow us on Instagram at
Secret Passage Podcast. We only have Instagram and TikTok now. Yeah.
and you can also subscribe to our Patreon. All right, thanks, guys, for listening, and let us know your thoughts on this case.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.